Ecuador stuns Germany in dramatic comeback at MetLife Stadium. In a moment that will be replayed for years in World Cup lore, Ecuador were delivered one of the biggest shocks of the tournament with a 2-1 victory over Germany on Thursday night at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. What began as a routine final group match for a German side, already assured of topping Group E, turned into a gripping tale of resilience, quick thinking, and one unforgettable toe poke that sent the South Americans into the knockout stage for the first time since 2006. The final whistle sparked wild celebrations from the Ecuador bench and traveling supporters who had packed sections of the iconic venue. Gonzalo Plata, the man who had absorbed an early blow to the head, rose from the chaos to become the hero with a 77-minute winner that left German goalkeeper Manuel Neuer staring in disbelief. For a team that entered the night knowing only a victory would keep their World Cup dream alive, this was more than 3 points. It was a statement that underdogs still have a place on the biggest stage. Germany arrived in the New York area with their progression secured after strong opening wins. Coach Julian Nagelsmann rotated his squad, resting key players, while still fielding a side packed with talent, including Leroy Sane and the veteran Neuer, who had come out of international retirement for this tournament. Ecuador, under Sebastian Becasese, knew the math was unforgiving. 4 points from their first 2 games left them on the outside, looking in for direct qualification. Only a win, combined with favorable results elsewhere, could push them into the top 8 third-placed teams. The pressure sat squarely on the shoulders of a squad that had shown fight but needed a breakthrough performance. The script flipped almost immediately. Just 2 minutes into the contest, Germany struck with clinical precision. Sane collected a pass in space and drove forward before unleashing a low drive that beat goalkeeper Hernan Galindez. The early goal sent a ripple through the stands. For German fans, it felt like business as usual. For Ecuador, it looked like another mountain to climb against a heavyweight opponent. Yet the response came with stunning speed. 7 minutes later, Nilson Angulo leveled the score with a goal of genuine quality. Collecting the ball outside the box, the young forward shaped his body and curled a beautiful effort into the far corner beyond Neuer reach. The MetLife Stadium erupted as Ecuador players mobbed their teammate. Suddenly, the narrative shifted from early deficit to genuine contest. Angulo had waited for his moment all tournament and chose the perfect night to announce himself on the global stage. The first half settled into a tense rhythm. Germany pressed for a second goal to reassert control, while Ecuador grew in confidence with every successful clearance and counter. Becacese's side showed discipline in defense, with central defenders like William Pacho and Piero Hincapié standing firm against waves of German attacks. Moises Caicedo anchored the midfield with typical tenacity, breaking up play and launching transitions that kept the European giants honest. The interval brought fresh drama. Early in the second half, Germany thought they had restored their lead from the penalty spot after a challenge in the box. Referee and video assistant reviewed the incident at length before overturning the decision due to a foul in the build-up. The let-off injected fresh belief into Ecuador. They sensed an opportunity. The crowd, a vibrant mix of South American voices and curious American soccer fans enjoying the World Cup on home soil, grew louder with every Ecuador surge. As the clock ticked past the hour mark, the tension became palpable. Germany threw more bodies forward in search of a winner that would seal top spot with style. Substitutions brought fresh legs, but also disrupted their rhythm. Ecuador remained compact, absorbing pressure and looking for the one moment that could change everything. That moment arrived in the 77th minute from a set piece. Pedro Vite swung in a corner from the right. Kevin Rodriguez rose at the near post and flicked the ball on with a deft header. The flick found Plata in a pocket of space inside the 6-yard box. The Ecuador forward, still feeling the effects of an earlier clash that had left him bloodied, reacted instinctively. He poked out his left foot and steered the ball past the outstretched arm of Nair and into the roof of the net. Bedlam followed. Plata sprinted toward the corner flag, arms outstretched, teammates piling on in celebration. The German players stood frozen for a split second, the reality of the deficit sinking in. Neuer, the 40-year-old icon, could only watch as the ball nestled in the back of his goal. In that single action, a player who had taken a kick to the head earlier in the evening wrote his name into Ecuadorian football history. The final 13 minutes tested every nerve. Germany pushed desperately for an equalizer, launching long balls and forcing corners. Ecuador defended with heart and organization, throwing bodies in front of shots and clearing their lines with urgency. Every successful tackle drew roars from the stands. When the fourth official raised the board for stoppage time, the anxiety reached fever pitch. But Ecuador held firm. The final whistle confirmed what few outside their camp had predicted at kickoff. The 2-1 scoreline stood as one of the defining results of the group stage. Plata emerged as the undisputed star of the night. The 24-year-old winger had shown flashes of brilliance throughout the tournament, but this was his defining contribution. Having endured a painful head injury in the opening moments, he stayed on the pitch and delivered when it mattered most. His goal not only secured 3 points, but also guaranteed Ecuador a place in the round of 32. For a nation that last reached the knockout phase 20 years ago, the emotion was overwhelming. Players embraced on the pitch, some dropping to their knees in tears, while supporters chanted their names into the New Jersey night. For Germany, the defeat carried little long-term damage in terms of progression, yet it stung as a reminder that no match at this level can be taken lightly. Sane had delivered the perfect start, only for the team to lose focus and allow Ecuador back into the contest. Nagelsmann will analyze the lapses in concentration and the failure to convert dominance into a second goal. Neuer, despite his experience, could do little about the late strike, but will rue the concession from the corner. The result serves as a warning shot ahead of the knockout rounds where margins grow even tighter. Beyond the immediate emotions, this result carries wider significance for the tournament. Ecuador now enters the knockout draw with momentum and belief. Their path will likely pit them against one of the group winners, but they have already proven capable of toppling a traditional power. The victory also highlights the depth of South American soccer in 2026. While European sides dominate on paper, teams like Ecuador continue to produce moments that captivate global audiences. From an American perspective, the match offered everything fans love about the World Cup on home soil. A packed stadium in New Jersey provided a genuine big-game atmosphere. The underdog narrative resonated deeply in a country that celebrates comeback stories in every sport, from basketball March Madness runs to baseball World Series rallies. Ecuador embodied the never-say-die spirit that defines so much of American sports culture. Their quick response to the early German goal and refusal to fold under pressure mirrored the resilience seen in countless U.S. athletic triumphs. Plata's story adds another layer that American viewers can appreciate. A player who absorbed physical punishment yet stayed focused to deliver the decisive blow fits the classic sports movie arc. His journey from relative anonymity to World Cup hero in a single night captures the magic that keeps people glued to their screens. Anglo's contribution should not be overlooked either. His curling equalizer shifted the entire complexion of the contest and proved that Ecuador possessed the quality to hurt even the most organized defenses. Looking ahead, Ecuador will now prepare for a round of 32 clash with renewed optimism. Their group stage campaign featured defensive solidity and moments of individual brilliance that suggest they can compete with anyone when at their best. Germany, despite the setback, remains a dangerous proposition in the knockout phase. The experience of players like Sane and the leadership of veterans will serve them well when the stakes rise even higher. The images from MetLife Stadium will linger, the sight of Plata wheeling away in celebration after that perfectly executed toe poke, the dejected German players trudging back to the center circle, the roar of the crowd as the final whistle confirmed Ecuador advancement. These are the snapshots that define World Cup nights and turn casual viewers into lifelong fans. In the end, the 2-1 scoreline told only part of the story. What unfolded over 90-plus minutes was a masterclass in emotional swings, tactical discipline, and individual heroism. Ecuador arrived in New Jersey needing a miracle of sorts. They left with a victory that will be celebrated across South America and remembered as one of the standout moments of the 2026 tournament. For Gonzalo Plata and his teammates, the journey continues. For the rest of the football world, a reminder arrived that in soccer, the script can always be rewritten in the final act. The World Cup thrives on nights like this one, and Ecuador delivered exactly the kind of drama that keeps everyone coming back for more.